What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. Sports Channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, y'all. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded, but a lot of news breaking. So I'll just go through the gist of some of the news I've heard recently. So the first thing was, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the articles that were relating to Nick Sirianni, whether or not players are buying in. I mean, look, people are going to speculate. They're going to say things. And, I think one of the articles kind of pointed out kind of the obvious, weird logic behind something like that. You're talking about, at this time of year, 90-some guys. There's bound to be a little iffy with a rookie head coach. I mean, I don't know, man. It's one of those things that kind of gets blown up in Philly that maybe in other markets wouldn't be, obviously would be a big deal, but not quite to the extent it gets to in Philly with some of this stuff, guys. I mean, look, Lane Johnson spoke up and said, he'd like to know who's saying this stuff. Like, if you're going to levy accusations like that, you should attach your name to it. No player's ever going to do that, guys. I mean, you're not going to risk getting yourself cut. I mean, like, I get where Lane's coming from. I respect him for standing up and saying that. But I don't think he was really taking shots at teammates, guys. I think he was more so taking shots at the reporters on that one to say, like, I doubt you have the source you're claiming. But it's hard to say. I mean, to me, it does seem like the veteran guys that, looks like the Lane Johnsons and the Fletcher Coxes and the Brandon Grahams and all those guys seem to have bought in. I mean, to me, the biggest guy that needs to buy in, especially if we're talking Nick Sirianni, and we're talking about Shane Steichen and Kevin Patullo and this offensive group, right? To me, that's Jalen Hurts. Like, Jalen Hurts has to buy into it. If Jalen Hurts doesn't buy in, then I think you got a different situation. If Jalen Hurts buys into what Nick Sirianni is preaching, and he buys into the teaching methods of a Shane Steichen, and he buys into the system that he's seeing being put in place, and he buys into the way that Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen and Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo and all these guys are kind of treating the players, the way they're trying to work with them to grow them, then I don't think it matters that much, right? I mean, to me, then it's just nonsense rambling from reporters, because to me, that's the only thing that really matters out here. Like, if he's buying into it, I think you're fine, because you got a really young quarterback. You got a quarterback that showed some promise. You got a quarterback that showed some areas where he needs improvement on. And you got a coach that we don't know what to make of him when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, right? I mean, I love the guy's scheme. I love the fact that he seems to be a hands-on, personally get myself involved with the lessons and the teachings, especially at the wide receiver group play. But, I know he spent some time as a quarterback coach. He's got some background there, but he's really a wide receiver by trade. That's what he did. That's what he played in college. But I mean, if you go back to Indianapolis, guys, I mean, you're talking about Andrew Luck. I mean, you could make the argument that Jacoby Brissett was a young quarterback, but then they moved on from Andrew, to Jacoby Brissett, from Andrew Luck to Jacoby Brissett, all the way to basically Phillip Rivers, and you're talking about Luck being a guy that was in late 20s, pushing 30 at the time that he played there. To, you get down to Phillip Rivers, old man Phil. I mean, my guy was in his late 30s last year. I mean, hell, he might have been pushing almost 40 because Phil's around my age, man. We're pretty close in age. I think he's a couple years older than me. So, I mean, to me, yes, I can understand that. Like, to me, that's a concern. Like, I don't know. I don't know what Nick Sirianni's experience is working with young quarterbacks. I know Shane Steichen has a track record, at least last year, working with Justin Herbert. So, I mean, there is that to the coaching staff, right? Brian Johnson has worked with a ton of guys before. He's familiar with Jalen Hurts, right? He's worked with Dak Prescott in his past. He's worked with De'Aaron King. He's worked with a lot of young guys, man. I mean, we'll see, guys. I mean, the coaching stuff is kind of a big who cares to me. When we get into the aspects, though, of the trade rumors, oh, yeah, they're back again, guys. People love to attach the Eagles' name to any trade rumor. And the trade rumor that seems to consistently keep popping up, it just doesn't go away, is the Deshaun Watson one. And I love Deshaun Watson, the player, guys. Deshaun Watson is a very good football player, and I got guys that I greatly respect that I'm friends with. I talk to them all the time. Shout out my guy like LB. LB thinks that Deshaun Watson's a good football player, but he's a little skeptical on him being like a guy that takes you and gets you over the hump and pushes you into Super Bowl contention. He still thinks he has something to prove in that regard, and I can respect that. But I'm just talking about from a pure talent perspective. Deshaun Watson is definitely, in my opinion, he's a top 6 quarterback. I think it's very argumentative to even say that he's top. I would probably put him in top 5 personally. I would say he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. The issue being here is that it goes back to my earlier point. If you have to give away multiple first-round draft picks to go acquire Deshaun Watson, okay, number one, we never really gave Jalen Hurts an honest opportunity. So I'm not a huge fan of doing that this year unless you better be pushing for a deep playoff run with a guy like Deshaun Watson on this team. Because the outlook of the roster takes a turn for the negative, especially defensively, past this season. To me, when you really sit down, guys, and if you haven't done it, I encourage you to go look at the contract situation of our guys. All right, I'll run through some of it for you, right? Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's coming to the end of his deal. This is his last year on his deal, his rookie contract. Derek Barnett's playing on a 5th-year option. Brandon Graham is likely done after this season in Philadelphia. Fletcher Cox it's not a guarantee that he's gone, guys, but he does have an out in his contract, meaning the dead money is less. The dead money hit is less than his actual contract value. So you would get a net savings by letting him go, which generally translates to being an out in the contract, okay? We don't know much about Javon Hargrave yet, right? And he's got kind of a weird, complex contract situation because we had to redo his deal this year to get other guys under contracts, right? Darius Slay had to rework his deal again, right? He's over 30. You look at Anthony Harris is only on a 1-year contract. Rodney McLeod's on the last year of his deal, I believe. I mean, going further into the secondary, guys, Avonte Maddox is on the last year of his deal. We have the complexity of Dallas Goedert's extension that needs to be worked out offensively. Just kind of jumping over and going offensively. Like, even defensively, even when you go to linebackers, guys, I mean, we got a couple of young guys we drafted that, yeah, Bradley and guys like that stepping up and Davion Taylor making, playing significant minutes and making, like, really big contributions. Absolutely. Absolutely, that would help this football team. But there's no guarantee to that, guys. You start spending those 3 first-round picks you have on a quarterback before you find out if the one you have can play. Guys, it can be complex, man. You can argue this from either side, guys, and I get the opposite side of the argument, which is, yeah, but if you don't have quarterback play, it's not necessarily a nail in the coffin per se, but it's tough to win in the league without having a really good quarterback play, and I get that. You got to have at least adequate to like average to slightly above average quarterback play. You don't have to be top 10 or top 5 per se, but you got to be a certain level. I get it. With that said, guys, I mean, when you really break down the contracts, you trade away those picks to get a guy like Deshaun Watson. Like, there are concerns, guys. I'm not weighing in on if I think the Eagles will do it, if they should do it. I'm not weighing in on that stuff, guys. I'm not weighing in on it. I'm just saying it's complex when you look at the contract situations and how much we really should be valuing these picks and how much we may need these picks. That's my concern, guys. That's truly and honestly my concern when I look at this football team right now. Especially when we're talking about giving away picks, is that the long-term future may be a little bit more cloudy than what people realize because it's kind of hard to keep up with these contracts, guys. It's easy to forget that some of these dudes are coming due. And I didn't even list them all, guys, to be honest with you. Like, we have a ton of guys that are going to be coming up on contract years, man. Pretty much everybody we signed was pretty much 1-year deal or so. So, you know what I mean? Like, not a lot of stability defensively on this football team right now. I think this team's going to be very, very different come, not necessarily 2022, but 2023 might be a very, very different looking defense than what was out there in 2020. I'm not even going to count this year because I still think this year is a transition year and could be a little weird as well, to be quite honest, but who knows. That's what I got for you guys. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. What do you guys think about the Deshaun Watson rumors not dying? You think the Eagles are really going to do something like that and trade away those first-round picks? What do you guys think about the Nick Sirianni news breaking about whether or not players are buying in or so forth and so forth, guys? All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. Just a heads up, guys. I will be live tomorrow. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm going to have a special guest with me, so Y'all check me out for that tomorrow. I'll update tomorrow sometime. I'll give you guys the time and when it's all going to be done. It'll probably be tomorrow night, guys. So I'd look for something after 6 p.m. will be out from me in terms of the live stream, but you get what it is, guys. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next video.